Okay, so welcome to the Turn Your Gifts to Gold / Ask Me Anything call. And before we start, I just want to honor Priscilla, who is my amazing executive assistant. Yes, I want to just really honor her for just always being my rock and showing up and supporting me. So just honoring you and Katie. So Priscilla is my executive assistant. I could not run my business without her, and I just really appreciate you so much. And Katie, this is actually the first time that I'm announcing this publicly, but Katie is my new support coach. She has been a client of mine. She has been just everything. My fertility coach, a friend, all of the things. And I'm just so grateful that now she is coming on board to be my support coach for Elevate Entrepreneur. So more on that in a little bit, but I'm just really so grateful for the incredible support that I have, because I can't do this alone. And I want to thank you all as well for coming on and trusting and following your intuition, however you got here. Because I know some of us, like Andrea, we connected like randomly, right? It's not random, but my professor from St. John's University posted something and she was like, oh, I want to connect with you. And then boom, like here she is. So God works in mysterious ways. There's no coincidence. I am so grateful for all of you for taking intentional time out of your schedule to be here with me tonight, because I am so excited for where we're going in healthcare. And I know that you're all healers here to really make an impact on your clients, on your family. And it's truly by us being empowered and shining in who we really are. That's how we begin to heal the world. So by all of you coming here, I want to celebrate you all, first of all. So let's just take a moment and put your hand on your heart with me here. Because we're so, there's like that voice, right? That's like, oh, like I don't have enough certifications. I'm not further ahead, da, 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 da. We're just going to like tuck that away for a little bit. And we're going to just celebrate everything that you've been through up until this point. All of the, maybe your own healing with family, all the certifications, the knowledge, the wisdom, your treasures are within you. And we're going to be unlocking that tonight. So just celebrate silently to yourself, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's like, I'm really proud of myself for stepping out of my comfort zone and coming on this call. I don't know, this Christina girl, whatever that is. I want you to just celebrate one thing. This is how we start building that muscle of self-love, which is really the foundation of your business. Because no matter what, if there's a hater comment, if a launch fails, whatever happens, you come back to yourself. Even though whatever happens, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So this is where we start. Yes, yes, yes. How awesome is all of this? Oh, beautiful. Action taker Andrea. Ooh, I like that name. Cool. Okay, so what we're going to do to start off is I'm going to actually show you a quick nervous system exercise that you can do, like I said, anywhere with your husband, with at the pharmacy, wherever that is for you. So what this, I'll actually describe what this is first. So what we're going to do is we're going to be activating what's called your social engagement center. So this is where we're going to talk about the different nervous system states in a little bit. This is where we actually connect. So if you think about talking, right, this is how we connect with other people. It's also how we connect with ourselves. So if you think of, like I know with me, when I had my eating disorder, that's how I connected with myself. I was like, I need to numb out, and that was how I was connecting with myself. So if you see, maybe with your patients, or if you've experienced this, where you're maybe like even smokers too, right? Like they're trying to connect and get that sense of social engagement to bring themselves back into that realm of safety. So what we're going to do today is you're going to be holding water in your mouth for a couple seconds and activating that social engagement center so that you're bringing your body back to safety. Because so many of us have, had trauma or these fight, flight, freeze responses that, when you're in the amygdala, it can be really tough to connect with that person in front of you, whether it's a client, whether it's your husband, your children, whoever that is. So what we're going to do is you'll hold that water in your mouth. You're going to take an inhale and an exhale, and then you're going to swallow. Another reason why we do this is because when you're in that fight flight response, typically the first thing that happens with a trauma is that you hold your breath, because it's like, oh my God, that just happened, right? So you're holding your breath. And so what we do is you're holding that, activating the social engagement center, and then you're taking a deep breath and pausing and then exhaling. So that's all you're going to do. We're going to do that a few times, and it's really going to help you. If you're in any of that like fight, flight, freeze, that's fine. We're going to just really bring you back to safety so that you can really absorb this content too. So if you've ever, said something to a patient like, okay, we're going over da 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 da, and then they're like, you go, okay, repeat it back, and they're like, I don't know what you just said. It's because they're probably in shock or trauma. Think about when somebody gets diagnosed with an illness, they're experiencing that shock, like, oh my gosh, I have this illness, and then stress chemistry, fight, flight, freeze, and that whole cascade goes on for them. So that's what we're going to do. And you can do this, like I said, anytime that you want to just feel an overall sense of safety in your body, whether you need to go connect with a patient, if you need to just go take a breath and you're like, I'm just so overwhelmed right now, this is something that you can do. So you'll just get your water, and I'll actually walk you through it because I can't say it with the water in my mouth and also show you at the same time. So you can go ahead and let me know when you're ready. Okay, Jen's got her water bottle there. Perfect. So what you'll do is just take a sip. So you'll take a sip of your water. Don't swallow it quite yet. And you're just going to take an inhale and exhale and then swallow. So you're going to hold the water in your mouth for a couple seconds. Inhale, exhale, swallow. And we're going to do this a couple times. So I'll just keep saying it and you can just go at your own pace. So we'll do it 2 more times. The brain always loves context to know what's happening. So again, taking that sip of water, holding it in your mouth, taking an inhale and exhale. And just noticing if you feel a 1% shift. Any kind of shift, like, oh, you know what? Like I feel a little bit of relaxation in my shoulders, or I feel a little bit more present or focused, or whatever that is. So doing that 1 more time, taking the sip of water. You're going to be super hydrated now. Taking the sip of water, inhale, exhale, and then swallow. Feel a little calmer. Yeah, beautiful. So this is a nervous system exercise you can do. It's applying a little bit of the break, and I'll refer back to this when we go through the nervous system exercises in the slides. Okay, another quick thing that you can do, I like this, yeah. Another thing you can do is put your tongue to the roof of your mouth for 7 seconds, and what this is doing is activating the vagus nerve. So if you tend to get into that more, like I go to fight whenever I'm triggered. Priscilla knows this. I'm like, I own it about myself. I get triggered too. This is a really simple way to just bring yourself back to safety. So even just, again, you can do something as simple as putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth, holding it for about 7 seconds. You might notice that you yawn, and that's a great sign that your body's responding, that you're activating that vagus nerve to just bring yourself back to that safety and connection. So it's something really simple you can do. How did that feel? I would love to hear in the comments here. Action taker Andrea, I'm liking that. We all need nicknames now. I'm ready for that. I was corny Christina in college. That's what they called me because I'm silly. All right. So what we're going to do now that we've connected with ourselves is we're going to connect with each other. So we're going to do some, makes me stop and think. Yeah. We're going to do some networking, just some fun, icebreaker activity here. What you're going to do, has anybody ever played 2 Truths and a Lie? No? Okay, so what you have to do is you have to pick 3 statements, really simple. So like one here, I forgot because I actually wrote this down, what mine were. So I'm originally from New York. I lived in Bali, Indonesia for 28 days. My favorite summertime dessert is s'mores with Ruffles potato chips. So you would pick 3 statements that you're going to say just like they're matter of fact, and people have to guess, okay, which one is the lie. So I'm actually curious to see, let's see, Katie, how well you know me. What was my lie?
Your dessert.
Yep. You're good. So it's just fun. So let's just do that really quick. And it'll just help us loosen up and get connected because we're going to be doing more breakouts in a little bit. All right, let me get create assign manually. Okay. All right, so you're just gonna connect with each other. Add room. Oh, here we go. I have to do all this manually. Okay, don't mind me. Okay, I'm gonna put 3 in a room. Okay, go ahead. Have fun. Unassigned. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Zoom recording, so I don't forget that. Okay. All right, everybody's back in. All right, party people, here we go. So who had fun? Look at all the smiles. Yes, Andrea. Andrea you get the award for most energetic out of the whole group. And Angela too. She was great with the dancing before. All right, so I'm going to get started. I am actually going to mute you all temporarily. You know I want to hear from you, but just so there's no background noise. So if everybody could just mute. Priscilla's my mute master, so she will she will also mute. Okay, so I actually decided to do a PowerPoint for tonight because I want you to really be able to visualize and see some of these images here. So I'm going to just share my screen. And we'll get started here. So don't worry about taking copious notes. You're going to get the recording. And I'm also going to be giving you this PowerPoint. So don't worry about just really absorb and be here with kind of what I'm sharing. Don't worry about, going crazy with notes. So, okay. So some housekeeping. Mrs. Doubtfire told me to tell you this. So please keep yourself muted unless you're in the breakout rooms. Please try to be present for the call. So I know, we all have busy lives, but I'm going to be asking some rapid fire questions. So you're going to want to pay attention I could ask a question at any moment. And what we're going to be doing with giving away prizes is that whoever is the first one to type in the chat is going to get credit for that answer. So if I were to say right now, here's the first question. Here's a rapid fire question for you. So what kind of dog do I have? Let's see. Who is it? Wiener. Yep. Shh. There you go. He's not muted, FYI. Okay. Dachshund. Yep. Look at you guys. So correct answer would be wiener dog, sausage dog, dachshund, all of the above. Perfect. So I could pop a question like that at any time. So be prepared and ready. So another thing, if we don't have your email and you're not in the Facebook group, just send that to Priscilla, just private message right now in the chat so that we have your email in the event that you do win a prize. So that way we have that to email you. Okay, so I am going to get started. Let me know. I might actually do this. Can everybody see this? Perfect. Good. Okay, so I want to make sure that everybody can see as I go through this. All right, Mrs. Doubtfire, I thought that was really funny. Okay. So what I know about you is that you are brilliant and that you have so many gifts to share with the world. And you have a transformational story that you're here to share. And through that connection and you sharing vulnerably about some of the struggles that you've been through, whether it's your own healing journey or somebody that you're close to, or maybe helping your child or, a family member, you have a story to tell. And maybe right now you feel like that light, that excitement, that zest that you had for pharmacy when you first became a pharmacist, and you were like, I'm a pharmacy student and I'm about to graduate and I'm so excited, that light got dimmed over time and then eventually snuffed out. And now you're like, oh, I'm burnt out. So if you can relate to that, you're on the right call. Because what I also know about you is that you know you're meant for more, and that you're ready to take off these golden handcuffs, and you're done doing work that is uninspiring, draining to your soul. And you really know that you're here to tell that story, to make an impact on your patients, and to create this domino effect of healing in the world. So who's with me with that, right? That's why we're all here. So you're ready to turn your gifts to gold and feel lit up about the work that you do. And maybe right now it's like, well, how do I do that? What certification do I need? All of these questions. And what I want to really simplify right now is that you have all of the gifts within you. It's just about unlocking those gifts. And so that's what I'm here to empower you with, both with the energetic transformational tools, like we just started with the nervous system work, and also with those practical strategic things that you can do to start calling in those soul clients who are already in your world right now. So when you become an empowered healer, you're attuned with your own nervous system. And like I said, you're able to then actually connect with your audience rather than just educating them and saying, okay, like I'm going to share about maybe functional medicine, but maybe you're not really connecting with that person who's sitting on the other side of the screen that really needs to hear what you've been through, what are the struggles that you've overcome. So being empowered and connecting with yourself is going to help you reach those clients who need the medicine that you have. It helps you be more effective with your coaching, which then creates raving fans for your business so that you're not having to hustle and keep, selling programs in order to get, to fill up your programs, right? So when you are really present with your own energy, when you have that self-belief, when you're strategic and innovative, which comes from doing this nervous system work, we're taking, getting out of that fight or flight into the prefrontal cortex where we can have strategic and innovative ideas. We have increased empathy and compassion, increased efficiency, so that the idea to implementation is like this, right? Because when we have a lot of that resistance in the way, which are protective mechanisms, we're going to go into that you can have all the ideas, but the implementation and the execution might take you a lot longer than if you had nothing in the way. So we're going to go through a couple of these different ways on how to shorten that gap. So I want to just start by just telling my story. And a lot of you already know this. I grew up in a very dysfunctional household, abusive father, physically, mentally, emotionally, my father and my brother, actually. I had a codependent mom. I was bullied multiple times throughout my childhood, and I was shamed for being highly sensitive. I'm an empath, if you couldn't tell. And I struggled a lot, in school. I couldn't even be in the lunchroom. It was just too loud and there was too much going on. I'm like, can I just go sit in a closet and eat my food? It was a lot. So I feel a lot even now, but that's a huge gift I've learned. So I grew up just suppressing. So we either suppress, escape, or express emotions. And I was constantly suppressing my emotions. And as a result, I grew up with having all of these physical symptoms, which I'm sure, I want you to relate this to your own story, right? Maybe you had certain symptoms that were manifesting and you, like I said to myself, right, like I'm a pharmacist because 2012, I was already a pharmacist. This doesn't make sense. Why do I have night eating disorder where I would get up and binge on unhealthy food, anxiety, depression, panic attacks? This was me homeless because my dad and my parents kicked me out of my house at 23 because I wanted to do a residency. And I was on Xanax and drinking and smoking. And now you're like, wait, is that you? Is that still you? Yes, this is the transformation of everything that I've moved through over the last 11 years. But what I realized was that when I went to go start to build my business, I'll just show you kind of a little bit of the journey here, that a lot of my trauma was getting in the way of me really connecting with my patients and being able to effectively help them through their transformation. So I've been through a lot of different interesting things. I've met a lot of ghouls and goblins along my way. My own father called me stupid when I went to go full-time in my business in 2019. Like the people who are supposed to be there for you. I've had so many just of those experiences. Again, I started off homeless and broke doing, taking integrative nutrition, doing a community pharmacy residency. I was engaged back in 2015, and I actually broke off that engagement, had to start from scratch. And I created this Enlightened Wellness Solutions, and it's morphed and changed since then. But I was that burnt out pharmacist, right? So I was working at Rite Aid from 2018 to 2019. I only lasted 8 months. I don't know how some of you people are like, oh, I was in retail for X amount of years. I'm like, I don't know how you did it. I quit after 8 months because I was so burnt out. And I was at my wit's end. I was taking Zoloft at that time. I was having weekly panic attacks, and I knew in my heart that I was meant for more, that I knew I had gifts to share. So for the first 7 years, I was like, I got it. I'm good. I'm Miss Independent. I don't need a coach. I don't need help, right? I was doing all of these back end things like fixing my website, getting my newsletter up, all of those things. I was still charging hourly rates for my coaching packages. I was working at a pharmacy job and having my business as a side hustle. But I was constantly getting triggered in my business. And I was thinking, it was that underlying belief of I'm not enough. So I would see somebody on social media and I would instantly compare myself to them. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm so far behind. And because of that, it created even more resistance in that idea to implementation gap. And as a result, I made less than $10,000 a year, and my impact was lessened because, again, I was going through all of the motions of thinking that I knew what I was doing, because I'm like, I'm a pharmacist, I can figure this out, right? I couldn't. And it wasn't until I actually hired a coach in 2019, and I'll share more about that I actually started to shine my light so that people could find me and hire me, and to shine in who I really was. That's really what this journey is. I want you to just sit with me right now and realize, again, you have these gifts within you. And in order to unlock that, we need to be releasing these protective mechanisms and these survival patterns that are keeping us on this side, right? Of like the identity of who we think we are, the limiting beliefs, the blocks, the perfectionism and the people pleasing. And it requires a leap of faith. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, fuck this. I'm going on the other side, right? I took the leap of faith. I quit my pharmacy job. It was like, you guys saw, I just wrote about this recently. I said, fuck it. And I was like, I don't care. I am not sacrificing for one more day my mental health. And so at that time I was taking Zoloft, like I said, having those weekly panic attacks, never ending queue. I mean, you guys know the whole gamut. Whether you work in retail or hospital, whatever that is, it felt like prison. And I was like, I'm done. I didn't have a rich husband. Sorry, Eric. I know, he wasn't rich. I didn't have a trust fund. None of that. I just trusted, and I believed in myself enough that I made this energetic investment. I hired 2 coaches that year, and this was not that long ago, 2019. And I said, I am ready to really invest in myself, to step into something that I've never done before, but I knew that there was gold on the other side of it. So that year I replaced my essentially pharmacist income, and then it's doubled, and ever since then. So I say this not to brag. I say to show you what's possible in order for you to propel yourself into the unknown, which we know is uncomfortable. So fast forward again, only a few years, look at how much has changed. So I'm telling you this because I want you to see yourself in my story. I want you to see the little elements of whatever you can relate to, and know that I'm not anything special. I am just a person who has chosen to look fear in the face and say, fuck you. I am moving past. I am going into the unknown. I'm going into uncharted waters. And that's why I've been able to honestly create this business, and hosting retreats and writing books and doing these things that, you can do too. Whatever it is that you desire for your business is possible. And I'm here as living proof to show you. You saw where I came from: eating disorders, abuse, all of those things. And that is why I always, if you look at a lot of my branding, it's light. because I know that so many of us have been dimmed. Maybe it's through abuse, trauma, working in a toxic work environment. And so I want you to shine your light. That's what this is about. It's about unlocking who you really are, because this journey leads you back to yourself. That's really what this is, to expressing who you really are. So what I've realized is that, it's not only about strategy, right? Because if you can Google like, oh, how to build a business, right? If it were that simple, you would have done it. But what I want to really have you sink into with me here, it's about your energy. How big is the gap between idea and implementation, right? It's all of the subconscious fears, the nervous system responses that we talked about before. Who can relate to, we're going to talk about freeze. So overwhelm, overthinking, procrastination, perfectionism. Like if you do things last minute because like there's a reason why your body's doing that, because it's trying to stay safe. So of course it's scary to step into the unknown, but there are ways and there are tools that you can use, like nervous system work, like tapping, and a variety of other things to help you condition your body and your mind to say, okay, I know that this is maybe unknown, but it's something that I am going to walk out in faith in. So that's what I always laugh at this picture. So what is that? I want to hear in the chat, what is the gap between idea and implementation? I tend to overthink too much. Amazing. Oh, thank you, Kelly, so much. I really received that. Holding hand. Yeah. Yep. With government benefits. Yeah. What if you could make double that though, Jennifer? I will say that, right? Yeah. Overthinking. Yep. So tell me, I want to hear from you all. Oh, now I lost the chat. I don't know where it went. All right. What is the idea? What is the gap between idea and implementation? Let me come out here. So what I just went over, what are some of the things that get in the way? Yes. Boom. Fear, breadwinner, analysis, imposter syndrome. Yep. Yeah. Procrastinate. Yep. Make sure I can support my family. Yes. Yes. Here's what I want you to, what I want to ask you. You don't have to go rogue like I did and leap off the cliff with nothing on the other side. What if you also had a safety net? Like, have you ever seen, this just came to my mind, like the flying trapeze where like you're holding onto the bar. I actually did this in Vegas, and then you fall into the net. What if you had like somebody supporting you and there was a net underneath? Fear of money. Yep. I don't want to offend people. Oh, my dog's scratching at the door now. Fear of failure. She wants to contribute to the conversation, my dachshund. She heard we were talking about it, right? So this is what's happening, is that we have these unconscious fears, even for good things. Like, okay, if I want $100,000 in my business, there can be a negative consequence that I'm going to be overwhelmed and I'm not going to have time for my family. So there can be a lot of these unconscious programs that are actually stopping you from moving forward and being profitable in your business. So again, it's not only about strategy, it is very much about, I would say 90 to 95% is about the energy that you're holding, the beliefs, subconscious programming, these survival patterns and mechanisms that have kept you safe for a really long time. And I want to just say this, and I said this last night on the call with Jennifer. I don't know if Jennifer's still here, but there's nothing wrong with you. I want you to really absorb that. There is nothing wrong with you. These are developed through time and repetition, and it's like a groove, right? We keep going down the same path every single day. It's what becomes our identity. And so a lot of the work that I do, it's multidimensional. It's looking at your subconscious programming, teaching you nervous system techniques, that are proven and evidence-based to help you bring your body back to safety so that you can take those bold steps. And like I said, maybe you're not hopping off, onto the other side like I did, but maybe you have a safety net, and maybe you start scaling your business and becoming profitable up until the point then you can leave your pharmacy job. Often fear what others will think. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for responding here. I want to go back to this. Just hold that in your mind for a minute. And I want to take you through, again, a little bit of these more in depth of the nervous system, because this is really what's happening. So I want you to just close your eyes and just listen to my voice as I kind of take you through this. So I want you to imagine that you are in a beautiful pool. You pick the pool, wherever it is, if it's like an infinity pool, if it's in Aruba, wherever this pool is. And you're sipping your champagne and you're in the pool on like a floaty, just a relaxing float. And all of a sudden, somebody comes and throws 5 beach balls into the pool. And you're like, hey, what the heck, man? Like, I'm trying to just sip my champagne. Then someone throws 5 more balls in the pool. Then 5 more. And then pretty soon this pool is filled. And these balls represent your kids and all of the things that you have to do, whether that's, taking them to baseball and all of those things, of course, that you have to do as a parent. The balls represent unresolved trauma from the past. The balls represent work obligations that you have. And all of that, you can open your eyes now. All of that gets so overwhelming. And so when you're in the pool, you're like, oh my God, I can't even move, right? And that's what overwhelm is. That's what freeze looks like. So we're going to go through some of these different ways that the body is protecting you, and it's going to be like that light bulb's going to go off and be like, oh wow, this is what's happening. So remember before we talked about the social engagement, right? This is a social engagement center, connection, safety. We're going to go through these 3 different states here actually, let me go back. This is called the polyvagal theory. So this is the nervous system. The reason why this is so important is because we're looking to decrease levels of burnout and increase productivity. So that idea to implementation is a lot shorter. So you don't have all of these things that are stopping you and preventing you from moving forward in your business. So the social engagement, this is called ventral vagal, where you're like easy breezy, you're on the float, safety. There's a lot of capacity in the pool. The pool represents your nervous system capacity. There's that openness, compassion. Maybe this is like you on vacation, right? You're like, no stress, I'm good to go. I have a drink in my hand. And then what happens is, like I said, someone throws these balls in the pool. So there's a threat in the environment. So typically when you're in this hyperarousal state, again, this is where I go, I'll call myself out. Everything feels really urgent. Like I have to answer that right away. The message came through, like your body feels very much in a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of pressure, the need to go faster. I can't relax until I hit this goal. And a lot of these behaviors exist in this state. So like obsession with hitting the next milestone in your business. You might either go in this state, fight or flight. So maybe you go towards defensiveness or moving towards the threat, which is what I do. I'm like, oh, I'm ready, let's fight. Or you run away and you avoid. Again, no judgment. We're just noticing, okay, where do I go whenever I'm under stress, whenever there is that threat in the environment? And it might not be a tiger. It might be, again, you're scrolling on social media and you see somebody that says something or triggers you and you're comparing yourself. The brain doesn't know the difference between what happened 30 years ago and what's happening right now. So this is what's happening in your body, is that fight or flight response kicks on. Some of the thoughts, maybe if you can't relate to how it feels, the thoughts are going to be, I have to do this now. I can't make a mistake. I can't mess anything up. If I don't go faster, I'm going to miss out. It's not safe to relax. So you'll often add a lot to your plate and everything's really overwhelming. Then if more balls get added to the pool, the body goes into what's called freeze, which I find a lot of pharmacists, this is where you go. It's a blended state of sympathetic and parasympathetic, where there's a lot of that like feeling of being frozen. I hate being in freeze. It's so uncomfortable. It's like having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You're like, I want to move, but I can't move. And it's that feeling of being stuck. So some of the behaviors are overthinking, procrastination, perfectionism, black and white thinking, scarcity with time or money, and small decisions feel really difficult to make. So if you find yourself going back and forth, like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? But then at the last minute, you're like, all right, now I'm going to mobilize. This is what's happening. because again, it's a blended state of mobilizing energy of that gas, but also the break and the shutdown. So if you're stuck in this state, it can feel really difficult to move forward in your business. So the thoughts are, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't do anything. Like there's not enough freaking space in the pool, right, for me to swim around and to navigate. So this is what freeze looks and feels like. Then if there's so many bowls in the pool and you're like, oh my God, I just need to shut down. It's kind of like a computer. The computer, if there's too many tabs open, or if it has a virus, it's like, all right, shut down. This is where burnout happens. So this is what's happening in a lot of pharmacy and in healthcare, especially after COVID, after, everything that we've been through, that you've been through as well, personally, professionally. This is why there are such high rates of burnout, because there's so much going on. Answering doctor calls, mixing that solution, doing all those things, plus the unresolved trauma, the kids, all of the things, the pets, all of the things. So in this state, there's a lot of that wanting to hide. So completely shutting down, chronic fatigue, some of these numbing behaviors. It could be overeating, drinking, wanting to just check out and dissociate. Thoughts could be like, well, what's the point? Like, nothing's going to change. Like, I don't even have enough energy to look at my emails. This is what's happening. So if you can relate, I would love to hear in the chat here. Yeah. Can you be in a mix of freeze and hyperarousal? I'd be curious to hear more about that. I would say, so freeze is actually a blended state. So hyperarousal and shutdown. I feel this about posting on social media lately. Oh my God, this is my life. Yeah. Hate feeling stuck. Oh my God. Yeah. Heavy weight in my throat. Oh, so, okay. Melissa, definitely for you, that exercise is going to be key for the, like the water exercise we did before. Yeah. Yeah. There's no time to think, you just react. Yep. Oh yeah, Alina, please be careful. Don't close your eyes while driving. Yeah, I didn't leave my job. I am shut down. Yeah. Yeah. So we're just going to notice again, all of this is just bringing awareness to where we typically go when we're under stress, because this is typically the response that's happening. And this is really where we can begin mapping out the nervous system and seeing, okay, well, like, what are my thoughts when I'm in freeze? What are my thoughts about money? What are my thoughts about my business? And then you're going to start, because the body is informing the brain. Also irritated, defensive. Yeah. Yep. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Poor Eric. I'm always like, leave me alone. Right. Freeze. Yep. That's very characteristic of freeze, Kim. I hear you. Yeah. So what's happening again is pharmacy school. Think about how stressed we were. I remember in pharmacy school, that's when I had my most stress. So we have all of this allostatic load, this stored stress in the nervous system that are like the bowls in the pool, right? So growing your business, work, pets, unresolved trauma, health challenges. Maybe you take care of elderly grandparents or parents. All of these things are part of what's happening in your nervous system. And so you can't, when people talk about mindset work, right? We can't start at the level of the mind, because it's not a mindset issue. It's a nervous system issue. So a multi-dimensional approach involves mapping your own system, seeing, okay, like, when do I get out of my window of tolerance, or that ventral vagal safety place? I realized I never even felt safe. I was never in that ventral vagal until I started doing this work. This multi-dimensional approach of healing requires, rewiring the nervous system. So we learned that today, some of these things with, the reconnection exercise, the tongue exercise that we did before. These are the bullet points that we're going to be actually using specifically in Emperor Center Circle. More on that later, but utilizing cutting edge technology that's going to stimulate and rewire the brain by stimulating the vagus nerve, tracking things like HRV and biodata to be able to see, okay, like, how is my energy today? Should I be pushing in my business? Is it more of a recovery day? And this is really how we start to honor our body and be effective in our business. So nervous system work helps you, again, increase the capacity of the pool. So now you can be more creative. You can hold more wealth and clients, which is energy, without this overwhelm or burnout. It helps you to have a sustainable business model. That's what really, if you think about sustainability, it's not about like just a sprint, like, oh, I'm going to do this launch and then I'm done and then I'm checked out. It's that sustainable, gentle energy that you want to have, not this like rush, rush, rush. Let's do it all now. And then you're burnt out from it. We want to have that really steady stream of energy throughout your business so that you're not burning out and you're able to, take that idea all the way to implementation. Okay. So let's test your knowledge. Let's do some rapid fire questions here. All right. So let's do some fun ones and we'll do some nervous system questions. Okay. This is a funny one. Okay. So for those of you who got the virtual bundle and you got the cookies in the mail, how many cookies did the RX cookie say to eat? Yeah. All right. Well, it was okay. Okay. I'll wait. There was a couple other LOL. Yeah. So you guys are like, I don't know. I just ate it. So the correct answer was 1 to 2. I figured I would throw that in there just to make us laugh. Okay. So where was the Healers in Healthcare conference this year? Just ate it. Yeah. There you go. Ohio. Yep. Cincinnati. Perfect. Yep. Damn, I'm gonna have to give away so many prizes. I don't know who's no, this is good. I have a ton of them to give away. Okay. Fill in the blank. Your treasures are blank. What do I always say? Your treasures are what? Yep. Boom. Jennifer, you got it. She did the meditation today. Yep. Inside you. Perfect. Okay. Let's do some nervous system questions. What is the cumulative stress over a lifetime called that we just went over? Blank load. Oh, yes, Melinda. Very good. Very good. Awesome. So what nervous system state is characterized by overwhelm, overthinking, procrastination, and feeling numb? Where do pharmacists live? That's the hint. Freeze. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Freeze. So freeze is that blended state before we get to the dorsal vagal, which is complete shutdown. Freeze. Good. Yeah, this is all new. When I first learned this, I'm like, wait, is freeze the same thing as shutdown? Like I didn't know. So it's going to take that repetition. All good. You guys are doing great here. Okay. And what do the balls in the pool represent? Let's see. Yeah. Yep. Beautiful. Damn, you guys are good. Paying attention. Trying to get those prizes, kids. Katrina, that's really funny. Obstacles. Yeah, all those are right. Yep. Beautiful. Okay, so we talked about that. So your clients are going through this too, right? They're experiencing all of these different levels of the nervous system overload. So what you can do, this is kind of just an additional thing that you can do to support someone who's in that state. So you as the practitioner can be, regulating your own nervous system, of course, which is going to actually help them receive the information. Because when you speak and you're in ventral vagal, when you're in that safety, people actually absorb what you say more so if you were dysregulated. So that's an interesting fact. But some of these other ways that you can support somebody who's maybe in one of those states, you can give them printed materials. So that way, when they go home, they're like, oh, okay, this is what she said. You can do a neuro exercise with them. You can ask them questions. You can create an environment of safety by leaning in with them and saying, how are you feeling? How is this, asking them questions, this was actually more in the virtual offer. I talked all about supportive design, but there are ways that you can create safety for patients in a physical environment, or even, I can't see myself, but hopefully you can see, this that I just bought, right? So nice artwork or open spaces can really help somebody to feel safe. So those are just some additional things that you do, that you can do for your patients too. So when you heal the nervous system, you heal the emotional body. When you heal the emotional body, you change your vibration. And when you change your vibration, you change your reality. So really, growing a sustainable business starts with the nervous system. That's really where all of this starts. So I want to switch gears a little bit. We talked a lot about the nervous system, and now we're going to talk about your treasures that are within you, right? Everybody got that question right. There's this old model of, wealth is outside of me. It's something I have to get. I need to get clients. I want to actually share a different perspective with you today. That idea that your wealth is within you, and when you circulate that wealth without expecting anything or needing to know how it's going to come back to you, when you shine your light as your true self and you circulate that wealth of knowledge, whether it's your innate gifts, your story, doing giveaways, whatever that is, that's how you eventually, receive in return. So you're essentially circulating your wealth and then receiving the clients. So I want you to start thinking of the fact that, like I said, wealth is really within you. So turning your gifts to gold, I want you to think about that treasure chest. If you saw that picture today, I love Canva has such beautiful images. I love that treasure chest. You have that. So it's just about unlocking that treasure chest and turning these gifts that you have, the knowledge, skills, gifts, attitudes, into gold. Because guess what? I just wrote a list of things today. Who does this sound like? Intelligent, organized, attention to detail, good at managing people, loving, kind, empathetic. It's a pharmacist. So pharmacists can absolutely be coaches and run successful businesses. You have kids, you manage, and you run a household. So I want you to realize how many gifts you probably already have that you can turn to gold to create signature offers, evergreen courses. Yeah, exactly. You're already coaches. Beautiful, Angela. So you can create all of these things, right? But it's often, it's not so much, like I said, the strategy or knowing what to do. It's how do we get out of our own way to move forward. So typically the way that we're trained as pharmacists is like, oh, well, like entrepreneurship, or no, we have to trade hours for money. But in the coaching model, it's way different. And I always teach my clients, and Jen would know this because I know we always talk about this, that really it's the potency of the transformation. You can price based upon the potency of the transformation you provide. So thinking of a practical example, when you send something in the mail and it gets there quicker, you're going to pay more, right? So like thinking about you and your clients, if it's a group program, maybe the transformation is going to be over a longer period of time and they don't get that one-on-one access to you. But then if they want the quick path, they're like, I want to hire you one-on-one. That's kind of like the overnight shipping example here with mail. So thinking about all of the different ways that you can work with your clients, whether it's one-on-one or creating a group program or even a VIP day, there are so many ways that you can do this. And I just showed a couple of different things that you could think about on how to create, a profitable business model, multiple income streams. These are just some ideas for you. So again, what gets in the way? All of the things that we talked about before, right? So the overthinking, the concern about like, will people pay me, the overwhelm, the too many ideas, and not being able to execute the idea. So this is really what I find a lot of my clients come to me with, is that you're struggling to implement and to actually, call in those clients and own and shine your brilliance and say, it's not from a convincing energy. It's like owning who you are and the value that you bring. That's really the depth of what we can do as pharmacists. So this is something that I taught at the Healers in Healthcare conference. So it was kind of just my 3-phase idea to implementation, really just breaking down simply. There are 3 phases of this where it's, the vision and planning, the marketing and strategy, and then the implementation and execution. And so really, this is the easy part, right? Like we can come up with a program, but how do we actually begin soulfully selling that program and messaging and connecting with our clients through social media to call them in and have them DMing us and being like, I need to work with you, right? So a lot of you probably have read some of my messaging and you're like, oh my God, she gets me. You can do the same thing for your clients, right? Really nailing down what are they experiencing? What is it like that they're moving through on a daily basis? and calling those pain points out and calling out their desire of what is that transformation that you're going to be providing them with. So that's what this comes down to. So we're going to switch a little bit to the idea that there are a lot of different ways that you can go about this, about your business journey. So like I said, this was me. So this gold line was me. I did not get help for 7 years in my business. And as a result, I took the bumpy path, I'll call it. So I want you to imagine that there are 3 different ways that you can get from JFK, which is in New York, to LAX, which is in Los Angeles. And these are the 3, just think of it like 3D, 4D, 5D. These are just the different routes that you could take. So the first way is this line at the bottom where you try to go by car. You get a flat tire, your kid throws up in the back seat, you get a detour, it takes you forever. You finally get there 2 weeks later. There's all, right? Like driving a car to try to get across country is going to be a lot. So that's what's happening in this model here, which is likened to what we're experiencing when we don't have any of that inner transformation work, right? When I talked about getting caught up in freeze and it taking really long for you to get to idea to implementation, it's going to take a lot longer because there's a lot of that resistance in the way. And again, we're not judging it or making it wrong. We're just being curious about it. The second way you could get there is by train. So, but you still have to stop at like Chicago, and then you go to Texas and see Jen, and then you go all these other places. And it's still kind of a pain in the ass. Like you're on a stuffy train. Ugh, who wants to be on a train for that long? It takes you a week. So that's what representative of this middle line here. Then the third way is you take a plane or a private jet and you get on that plane and you're all bougie and you have your nice little Coach purse and you have your glass of champagne and you get there in 5 hours, right? It takes a lot less time to get to that goal. So I want you to think about this, that this is what's happening. And like I said, I use myself in my own story. When we're trying to just do the strategy, or we're thinking like, I'll just post more, I'll just do I'll get a marketing strategy. There are actually 3 phases of transformation. That's what I was showing you back here, is that in this first state, this 3D state, I'll use these examples here. Let's just go column by column. So what's happening in this first phase is that you're starting to release a lot of the old programming that's been holding you back. So the self-sabotage and the protective mechanisms that have kept you in your old world. So maybe that's, pharmacy. Maybe there's an identity that you have around yourself, like, oh, well, I can't do that, right? You don't see the path quite yet. But the energy of this phase, with all the balls in the pool and a lot of that unresolved trauma that we carry around, the energy is very heavy, dense. We feel like we have to really hustle and work hard and force things to happen. So if you're feeling that hustle energy in your business, that's where this lives right now. And again, there's nothing wrong or bad about it. We're just noticing what's happening when you're coming from force and this energy is that you're probably not getting consistent clients. You might still have to be working your pharmacy job, and you're doing all of the practical things that maybe other coaches are telling you to do without those inner shifts. And so the tools to help you with that is clearing self-sabotage, working with the nervous system, unwinding unworthiness, and a lot of the stories we have around what we're allowed to charge, what we think oh, well, so-and-so's not charging that, so I can't possibly, right? There's a lot of those money stories, even from maybe you've invested in coaches before. There can be a lot of that forgiveness work that still needs to be done to allow you to move forward in your business. So that's where a lot of this lives. And again, I have actually curated programs to help you to get from phase 1 to phase 2. So Elevate Entrepreneur, I'm going to talk about that shortly, is where we really work on rewiring your relationship with money, clearing self-sabotage. There's a lot of that subconscious programming, which you got a taste of today with that meditation if you listen to it. And what that helps you do is get to this next phase of 4D, where you're unlocking who you really are. You're meeting those money edges of maybe part of you is like, oh, like I really want to do that program. I really want to lean into this. But then part of you was like kind of pulling you back. This is where you're going to meet those uncomfortable edges. And this is where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm $18,000 for this coach. I went for it and I was able to move into that next phase. That's where you're going to see meeting a lot of your money edges in this 4D. So deepening into your purpose and gifts. That's where, in this phase, you'll have a lot of that. Your energy is going to start to feel lighter. And as a result, you're going to be calling in more of those clients consistently, but you might have these feast and famine cycles of growth. So maybe you have like a $10,000 month and then a 1,000. So there's not that sustainability that we were talking about before. So again, this going from phase 2 to phase 3 is what I've curated for this Empress Inner Circle, which I'm so excited about. So I'm going to go through some of these programs with you shortly to show you that it's actually allowed to be easier. I want you to understand that here, I want you to picture that you're going up this hill. And there are 2 ways up a hill, right, to get to that destination. Like we talked about the JFK to LAX. There are 2 ways to get to that destination. You can grip your way through, you can white knuckle and be like, no, I got it, I can do this, and just operate from force without doing the inner work. Or you can like look at these people, they're like, oh, take my hand, I'll help you up here, right? I have been there. And I know where the poison oak is to avoid on this on the way up to the mountaintop. And it's allowed to be easier for you. So that is the value of having coaching, of having someone who's been there, done that, who can support you, and having people like, you guys supporting each other. That is the whole point of, when you're stretching yourself, when you're doing things that are outside your comfort zone, you need that sense of community and connection. So who's ready for the easier path? Can I get a hell yes? Everybody's raising their hand on here. So on this picture, I love this picture so much. It was so great. So I want to show you actually, Jen, here's the beautiful Jen. So I know that it's easy to just talk about these concepts. You're like, yeah, Christina, energy, nervous system, whatever. I want to show you tangible results. These are just a couple of the results that my clients have gotten. I could give you 10,000 of these, but when you really show up and do the work and invest in yourself, that's in my opinion, the energetic investment of you believing in yourself and saying, I am ready for this next level. And you can see these results. So Sarah Myers, love her so much. She's a lifestyle and nutrition coach. She really took to the Elevate Entrepreneur program and tripled her number of one-on-one clients. She did amazing. She doubled her prices. She was really undervaluing her services. So we really worked on that, releasing blocks and blind spots, some unworthiness, some things that were coming through for her. And then Jen, if you want to just share a little bit, because since you're here, you could just share a little bit about, these are some of Jen's results. If you want to unmute, you can just share there.
I'd love to.
Yep.
I'm such a huge fan of Christina's work, and we did a call last night and we both cried, and it's on YouTube. So go watch it to get the full story. But yeah, I worked with Christina and just really transformed my business and my personal life. I needed so much work with blocks, and like she has here, man, I was just really in that masculine energy, scarcity, fear, guilt, shame. So through her work, I mean, those numbers were, gosh, I think that was in the fall when because so that was like the first step after I completed the program in the fall. I had my first just incredible month. And since then it's been consistent. I have consistent client flow. I consistently have that plus in my business months.
Wow.
I have
I guess I should update this.
Yes, you could update that. I have this beautiful office that I'm in. Totally was able to just really, the manifest word, I know that's kind of hokey for some people, but just really through the work with Christina, getting clarity, moving into flow, getting out of that resistance. It's created so many blessings in my life. I mean, a new car that I had on my vision board for a year, literally got the car, just divine, the whole story. The office that, I had been dreaming about for years. Now that I work from home, the business, just so many things have evolved in my life. And it's all because my heart, the inside part has shifted. And that's because of my work with Christina and her guidance. And so, yeah, I just such a big fan of this work and what she does.
I didn't pay her to say that. I swear to God,
No.
there's nothing there, but yeah, no, that's amazing. I need to add to this for next time.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
And then I want to, well, Katie too. So Katie has taken every single program that I've had over the last 2 years, and her transformation is absolutely incredible as well. I met her, I can feel her energy here. And then she's just like, I'm a boss in this picture here. And I remember she was so quiet and just shy. And she really, through our work together, like I said, she's taken Pristine, Magnetic Wealth Queen, Elevate Entrepreneur, one-on-one programs with me. She had an $11,000 month recently, and she's created multiple income streams for her business. She is a mom and, is just, it's not like she doesn't have any less balls in the pool. That's what I'm trying to say. She has plenty of balls in the pool, but now she has that work and that sustainability to really be able to scale. And I know a lot of you really want that outcome. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I'm saying that I have the heart to really uplift and help you if you're ready to turn your gifts to gold. I want to be that loving support for you, because as a pharmacist, I know what it's like to just feel like I can't stand this, retail pharmacy environment for one more day. So I want you to imagine that it's 6 months from now. Let's really live in. This was actually right. So this picture on the top right was right after I quit. I was like, yeah, I quit. That was my picture. My husband took it while we were playing golf. I want you to really sink in. Actually, close your eyes. I'm gonna just really tune into this with you, because I want you to really feel this for yourself. So I want you to imagine that it's 6 months from now, and you have time freedom. You have spaciousness in your schedule to go get a manicure, to get a massage, to do nothing, to read a magazine. And you have unlimited earning potential. So there's not that, 6-figure cap on your salary. You're not trading time for money. You're working for yourself. You're deciding who you work with and when you work. You can actually have a hot cup of coffee, not one that's just sitting on the counter. And then by the time you get to it, it's cold, or a cold meal. You have fresh air, the ability to work from anywhere. Spend more time with your kids. You're not going to miss their baseball practices because you have to work. And you'll be fulfilling your life purpose, rather than being a number or working for someone else's dream. And I want you to just let go of that part of you that's like, oh, but really? Could that be? It can. This is about your belief in yourself. Remembering that you have these gifts within you. You have the treasures, right? The wealth is within you. And it's allowed to be easier. I want you to see yourself in that moment, in that future timeline 6 months from now, and just feeling the joy, feeling the gratitude and the blessings, like what Jen was just talking about. Knowing that it's possible for you. All of these other people have done it. There's proof for your brain. You can do it too. You're brilliant, and you have gifts to share. So breathing that in, and then whenever you're ready, just coming back to the room. And I will check the chat. I see there's a bunch of people in the chat there. And just feel this possibility for yourself. And I am a stand for your transformation. I want you to just feel that. I know your greatness and I'm gonna stand for it. So I wanted to show you some of these bonuses as part of being on this call today that I'm offering. And I'm super excited about this because there are some new things that are in here. So if you're in phase 1 and you're wanting to get to phase 2, Elevate Entrepreneur Academy is really going to help you with the shift, strategies, and support, the 3 S's. So we talked about this before: the subconscious programming, releasing blocks, rewiring your relationship with money, so that you're feeling safe to shine in your gifts and you're able to diversify your income, turn your gifts to gold, and really be able to sustainably be able to launch and grow your business. So there is accountability in that group. I think that the biggest thing that a lot of people say about Elevate Entrepreneur Academy is the fact that they get an accountability partner. So if you're like, oh, I'm falling off track, that person's like, nope, I'm here with you. We have monthly calls. You get loved and supported by me. And the ultimate results that you're going to get in this program is that when you have an idea, you're going to be able to implement it. So increased profitability. This is how we decrease that gap between the idea and implementation. You're more resilient. So if something does happen in your business and you get triggered, it's not taking you days and weeks to get back to where you were. You feel it, you move through it, you respond, and then you come back. A lot of people will say they feel lighter, they feel more confident, and you're taking that bold action towards your goals to accelerate this path to full-time entrepreneurship. So Priscilla's going to be dropping a link. She probably already dropped it. So there is the link in the chat. And what I'm doing, like I said, since you're part of this call today, is when you sign up before the 4th, you're going to receive this special pricing. So $749 a month. And it's actually going up to $849 a month after that, because we're actually adding in a bunch of new calls. So bonus monthly calls with Katie. So you just saw Katie before. What Katie's going to be doing is coming on every month and really working with you intimately to help you optimize your social media channel. So if you're like, I don't know how to create a reel that's going to capture my audience's attention, she's going to help you do that. So you're going to have this extra additional support of someone who is phenomenal at social media that is really going to support you, in addition to me, to helping you turn your gifts to gold, take that idea, turn it into a program so that you can be profitable, all while doing that inner work so that your process is a lot easier, that your business gets to be a lot more of like what Jem was saying before, that ease and flow. So your next step, for if you're interested in Elevate Entrepreneur Academy and getting all of these amazing bonuses, you're also getting my Monetize Your Magic and Monetize Your Brilliance offers. So those are typically combined, I think $1,500 the cost. So you're getting all of this additionally, so that you're set up for success to accelerate your path to full-time entrepreneurship. So that's the first option. If you feel like, you know what, I'm in phase 2, I'm ready to move to phase 3, then you're going to want to look at the Empress Inner Circle program. So this is my signature program to help you sustainably scale your business to 6 figures. You're going to have content, community, and coaching, where you're going to have access to my nervous system coach, who, I'm telling you, this is a game changer if you're looking to sustainably grow a business. So you're going to have me, and Laura is her name, every month supporting you and loving you through whatever's coming up in your business, so that you can, again, build from a sustainable platform, so that you are able to scale in a way that feels really pleasure-led. So we're going to set up systems and strategies that feel good to you, so that you can hold those higher levels of wealth and clients without the burnout or overwhelm. Because we know you came from retail, you came from hospital pharmacy, you don't want to recreate that again. So this is really rewiring the nervous system and working with the transformation work, but also those practical strategies to help you call in more clients and wealth without all of the effort. So if that is something that you're like, oh, hell yeah, this is what I want more ease and flow, and I want to get on that private jet to 5D, to that really smooth path to 6 figures, where it's going to take you a lot less time, then your next step is to book a call with me. So Priscilla's going to drop a link, and it's going to have the Empress Inner Circle details. You'll see on there, there's going to be a link for you to book a call with me to explore this. So some of the bonuses that I'm giving away for this is that when you sign up before this date, so 6/15 is actually when we're starting. It's a 6-month program, a 6-month group program. You're going to get a bonus one-on-one 60-minute VIP session where we're going to map out your entire product suite so you can start being profitable now. And you're also going to get lifetime access to Pristine, which is normally a $2,000 investment. So I'm laying it all on for you today. I really want to, I reward action takers. So again, taking that leap, I want you to know that you're safe and held in this space, that you will be supported. And I have not only myself, but support coaches that are there to help you as well. So again, your next step is to book in that call with me, and Priscilla should have already dropped that link in there. So, okay. So let's test your knowledge again. Let's go back to this rapid fire questions. And if you have questions, by the way, about any of those programs, you're like, I don't know which one, I don't know what phase I'm in, just message me after the call and I'm happy to connect with you to just help, be of a support however I can. Okay. So let's see, what is we talked about that. What is the gap between idea and implementation? Okay. So in the 3D perspective, in the old model, where does wealth come from? Let's see. And you know what phase you were in. Yep. Oh, yeah. The outside. Yep. Melinda, you got it. Yep. Outside. So in the old model, wealth is outside of me and something I have to get. And so there's a lot of that hustle and working really hard and striving. But when you realize that your wealth is within you and you elevate your energy, then, and you're shifting your beliefs and what you're attracting, because right, we're always attracting and putting off a signal, right? Like, oh, maybe if you have some unconscious like unworthiness wounds that are coming through your business, and you're like, well, I can't charge that. That's what you're projecting out there. So when you start to shift your subconscious programming, your beliefs, when you work with the nervous system and rewire that, you're going to be projecting a new signal out, and you're going to be attracting those clients that are ready to pay for you. So yeah, time for money. Absolutely. Okay. So what phase of business transformation is characterized by heavy energy where there is a lot of self-sabotage? Let's see. Phase 1. Boom. Yep. 1. Yep. Beautiful. A+. Okay. Oh, this is a funny one. Okay. So what type of transportation was that middle line? So that was 4D. Train. Damn, you guys are good. Come on, ride the train and ride it. You can tell when I grew up. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, let me see if there was any other fun ones. Blah, 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 blah. What is the name of the energy work I'm trained in? Let's see who knows that one. If Ashley was here, she would know. So this is kind of one maybe you might not know. It's Reiki. Okay. Why do I love glitter and gold? Why is it part of my brand? That'll be the last one. Light. Yep. Melinda, damn, shine your light. Yep. Awesome. All right, breakout rooms. All right. So I want to actually come back here because I missed a bunch of clients. So great to see you. I have to leave. Okay, great. Peace out picture. When it comes, yeah. Jump off soon. Yep. Yeah. Shine your light. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, so perfect. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize what time it was. I was having so much fun here. Okay, so I want to make sure that we have time for questions. So let's actually do that first. Does anybody have a specific question for me? A clear question that you're like, it's a burning question. Like I need to have it. I need to have this answered. I would love to answer them. If you can't think of one right now and you wind up being like, oh, I just thought of this, just type it in the Facebook group. I'll create a post and you can just do that. So that's fine too. And if not, that's cool. We can go into breakout rooms real quick. Hello, Miss Dion. I didn't see you join before. Look at that smiling face.
Hello.
Hello. I love it. Okay, cool. So again, if you think of any questions, let me know. But let's actually do a quick breakout. So why don't we go into breakout rooms and just share, thank you so much for your time and amazing story. I want you to share maybe whatever really stuck out to you from our call tonight. So I'm just going to put you in one more quick breakout room. Move to room 2. Okay, so Jen, I'm going to move you into room 4. Okay. And I'll type it in there so you guys know too what to discuss. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. What's your biggest takeaway tonight? Hello.
Hey.
Oh, it's so cool to see you guys in the flesh. You know what I mean? I mean, not like over, because I see everybody's face on Facebook, but awesome. Well, I would love to hear if anybody wants to unmute or if you want to share anything. I know it's 7:30. I want to be mindful of everybody's time, but I would love to hear what was a takeaway, what was something that maybe was an aha moment for you, or anything that you want to share. You can open up now. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Andrea, come on, you're my cheerleader. What happened?
I guess I said it in the session when we were in a small group, so I figured, oh, it's already been said.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
I just thought that it was awesome that you get it. You've been there. And to hear someone say they want to support you, and you can hear that they get it, and they can tell you your story. That just is like, that's some yummy stuff. And then you say, oh my goodness, she gets me, she hears me, she understands where I'm at, and she's made it. Well, that's like dynamite. You know what I mean? That's some yummy stuff. That's
what are we eating? Let's come up with is it s'mores? Yummy.
Found these marshmallows that have chocolate in the middle already. And then I bought some graham crackers, and then here I am over the stove yesterday. Yes. Anyway.
I love the analogy. I love metaphors. So you were like yummy. I'm like, oh, what are we eating? No, I mean, thank you so much for that. And I hope that really comes through, because I know what it's like to, again, be stuck behind the counter and feel like there's no way out. And like I said, to me, it felt like a prison, and I want to show you that it's possible and that you have everything. So no matter how we stay connected, I just want you to know how gifted all of you are. And I'm going to be stalking each and every one of you on here, because now we're all connected. Miss Dion, I need to friend you on Facebook. Thank you for the amazing content. Oh, good. Okay, so I am going to be sharing, like I said, I have a Dropbox link. I'm going to post this to YouTube, and then I'll have the Dropbox link with the PowerPoint in case you wanted to go through anything. So you'll have that. If you think of any questions and you want to post in that Facebook group, please feel free. I'm going to keep that group open. It's kind of like a pop-up group that'll be open for the next week. And then after that, we're going to go, everybody can go back to Monetize Your Magic. It's just a lot of a bigger group. So this is more of an intimate space where I can really dive in with you and help out. So if anybody wants to stay on, I'm happy to do, like, if Priscilla, you can, feel free. I'll actually stop recording.